You're watching Life Today TV. I'm Randy Robinson, and we have a special interview for dads. You know, if you are a father, a husband, or just a father, you've been called to one of the highest callings a man can possibly call to, and that is being a father, being a good father. And so I want to talk to the author of Be a Better Dad Today, Gregory Slayton, who is a professor, an ambassador, a philanthropist, a businessman, a very successful individual who's taken a few minutes to give us some tips on how to be better fathers. Thank you for being with us today.
It's a real pleasure to be with you.
I really appreciate your time, and you know, we could spend the next 15 minutes talking about your background and the things you've done, but just give us a short, if possible, just so people get an idea of,
sure.
of how,
Happy
much
to.
you've been around.
So with respect to fatherhood, I didn't have a real father growing up, and that was a pretty searing experience. He was around when I was a real young boy, then more and more out of the house, and finally, when I was a young man, he said to my brothers and I, "Don't want to have anything more to do with you. Don't call me, don't write me. I don't want to hear from you again," which, you know, not easy. Yeah. I became a Christian in my senior year at Dartmouth College. Very, very big decision, most important decision I've ever made. And that's what really led me to think, hey, maybe even though I had tough childhood, maybe I want to try this marriage and fatherhood thing. It seems, you know, love to have a wife, and it's kind of lonely, you know. And I had the chance to study fatherhood on 5 different continents because I realized I didn't have a clue about how to be a dad. And I'm kind of an academic at heart in some ways, did the literature search, didn't find a lot of what I was looking for, and so went out and did some research, married a wonderful gal. We've been married for 23 years. We have 4 wonderful children, and she encouraged me to write this book. We're giving 100% of the royalties to Christian fatherhood charities. It's not because I'm the perfect dad. I'm not. It's not because I haven't made tons of mistakes. I have. But it's because we as dads need to encourage one another, because it's what you said before. It's the most important job in the whole world.
Mm-hmm. What have you learned that kind of trickles down to every father?
Sure.
What you call the tools.
Yes. Well, there are these 10 tools, and the subtitle of the book, it's Be a Better Dad Today, 10 Tools Every Father Needs. And these are the tools I saw around the world, in Africa, Europe, South America, Asia, and of course right here in North America. I saw that good dads used not all 10 tools. I never met a dad that used all the tools equally well. But I met a lot of dads, good dads, who were pretty proficient in a number of the tools and who were working to gain greater mastery of some of the other tools. And it makes sense, because we as guys realize you need tools to build anything. You're building a successful television network, as you guys have, congratulations. You're building your little kid's bicycle. I mean, you need the right tools.
Give us some of the tools.
Absolutely, yeah. The tools are in the acronym FATHERHOOD. There are 10 tools, and let me just start with the first, which is the F tool, which stands for Family First, Family Fun. There's an entire chapter on this, because as dads, we have to prioritize our families properly. Doesn't mean that we quit our jobs. Most of us can't do that. Doesn't mean that we're 24/7 at home. Most of us can't do that. But it does mean that when we are at home, that we're prioritizing the family and we're having fun with them. Deliberately, you know, doesn't mean we're spending time, doesn't mean necessarily we're taking them to Hawaii, although that's a great thing to do. But it does mean that we are paying attention to them, that we're playing maybe a little board game or helping them with their homework, doing something fun that the children are gonna know, I'm important, Dad cares about me.
I hear the term quality time, and I don't, obviously the time you spend with your children should have some quality to it.
Sure.
But sometimes it seems like an excuse for a lack of quantity.
I totally agree with that, completely agree. You know, this is why that first chapter is the F tool, Family First, Family Fun. It's very easy to have the family be the losers in the scheduling battle. Sure. You know, oh, the boss wants me at work, oh, I gotta fly to Tulsa or Tokyo or whatever. Oh, I want to go play golf with the boys or whatever. It's very easy to have the family fall out of the schedule. I'm too tired, whatever. It's so important for us as dads to remember this is the most important job we're ever going to have, ever.
One observation that struck me in your book is you talk about the husband loving his wife.
Yes.
And you say that when we do this, it helps our children and helps our children's children.
It does.
Explain how that goes on.
Well, the research is very clear, and you're not going to hear about this in the liberal media too much. They don't want you to know about this, but the research is very clear. One of the most important gifts we can give our children is a stable, happy marriage over them. Now, the book does have a chapter for single dads and blended families. We appreciate that. You know, families come in all shapes and sizes and types. But to the extent that I'm fortunate enough to have the wife of my children, of the mom of my children, is my wife, and that's a great blessing. Obviously, the two most important people in my children's lives are my wife and myself. Mm-hmm. They learn so much. My boys learn, how do I treat a woman by how my father treats my wife. My girl learns, how should I be treated by a man, by how my dad treats my mom. Mm-hmm. And equally important to all that, the security and stability of my parents aren't going anywhere. Yeah, they have troubles, they have struggles, but they're in this for the long haul. Right. That gives a security and a self-confidence that is extraordinarily important.
Do too many men quit?
Way too many guys quit today. Way too many guys. We have a phenomenon in America that is weird. In fact, I've just written an op-ed on this very subject. We have two different Americas. We have, and it's not divided by race or religion, or although a lot of good dads are people of faith, men of faith, I got to say that, or certainly socioeconomics. Did you have a dad who was actively and positively involved in your life or not? Mm. And more kids are growing up at incredible percentages, depending on the study you're looking at, as high as 40% of the kids in America are in that latter category. And these children are 2 to 4 times more likely to, down the road themselves, commit suicide, be severe drug abusers, suffer from severe mental illness, fail to graduate from high school, be illiterate. I mean, it's just a whole raft of social ills that follows fatherhood failure. Mm-hmm.
So it's important, even in the tough times, that men never give up.
Well, it is. In fact, that's one of the tools. Yeah. One of the tools one of the O tools is an optimistic, never surrender attitude. Because we're the leaders of our family. And I really want guys to hear this. You know, whether you recognize it or not. And some guys might say, well, that's old-fashioned, whatever. Brother, that's just reality. Mm-hmm. Whether you recognize it or not, you are the servant leader of your family. And I want to emphasize servant leader. If you say, it's like that old John Belushi quote in Blues Brothers, it ain't over till we say it's over. Right. If we as dads say, I'm out of here, and we leave, then obviously it's over. But even if intellectually we say, I'm sick and tired of this, I'm not putting any more effort in, frankly, it's over. It just might be a matter of time.
Yeah. What do you say to the guys, like a friend of mine who found himself divorced, not because he wanted to be, separated from his children, mm-hmm. who had loved his children, wanted to be a good dad, but through circumstances found it very difficult? Can he still be a good father?
He can, absolutely. It's as long as you're still drawing breath on this good earth, it's not too late. And I'll tell you why I know that for a fact, because my father abandoned us. And my father was not a good guy. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but let's just say not the world's finest individual. Even up to the last years, when we had no idea where he is and he continued to reject us and say, I don't want anything to do with you guys, we still would have been happy to have him give a call. Sure, I mean, he would have had to have apologized for a few things. You know, after 20 years or 30 years of mess, you don't just, it's not all good because you make one phone call. There's a whole chapter in the book, though, devoted to single dads and dads who are estranged from their families, difficult situations, frequently that the guy didn't wish for or want, but however it happened, you can get back into your kids' lives, and it is vitally important that you do. Sometimes you might have to eat some humble crow, almost certainly going to have to apologize for a few things, but that's okay. You know, sometimes in America, we think that, strong men don't apologize, and I think that's completely backwards. I think to be able to give a sincere, heartfelt apology, you need to be a strong man.
Great advice. Be sure to pick up the book, Be a Better Dad, today. You can get it anywhere, bookstores, online. And most of all, if you are a father, own it, take hold of it. Be the best man God can make you be so you can bless those kids and that wife in your life. Thank you for spending a few minutes with us.
Amen. Thank you.